we doing this Wednesday afternoon, everybody? Seems right now we have, if that little icon underneath my head is accurate, we have about 10 people joining us today. So welcome, 10 viewers to a new stream, and hopefully one with a lot less technical hiccups. It's just a web page that we're going to be looking at. So let's see who we have in the chat right now. I see we have Rage Master, Movie Review Guy, Movie Fan 99, Illusion Light, who I believe it's their first stream of mine, so welcome. Netro as well, and a lot of regulars I see. It's always good to see you guys here, and welcome. Yes, and Andrew Papaz, another name who I think is becoming a regular. I believe they were here last stream. I'm a bit quiet. Well, let me fix that. Hold on. Raise my gain up. There we go. That's probably a lot better. You tell me, though, if that's a lot better. I think I had the gain lowered for recording reasons earlier, so... Better. All right, much better. All right. So, what are we doing today? In case you could not gather what the subject is for today's stream based on the title, if you've ever heard of Tier Maker, it is a website where people submit tier lists of basically any topic they want, be it their favorite music by rappers or movies by Disney, that sort of thing. And I am a product of the 90s, and one of my favorite things, probably as you could tell from a lot of my aesthetic for the channel, is Cartoon Network is one of my favorite channels, especially for cartoons. Nickelodeon had some good stuff too, and so did Disney, but in my eyes, nothing really had as many quality bangers as Cartoon Network did. I mean, granted, there were definitely some shows that were not as great as others, which is why we're doing this today. I have found this tier list called the Cartoon Network Programming Tier List, and it's going to... basically, I wanted to find one because there were a lot that included Hanna-Barbera and Toonami stuff, which is cool and all, but that to me is like... those are separate categories, so those should be a separate tier list. And, I may love cartoons, but I haven't seen a lot of, Hanna-Barbera stuff, especially some of the obscure things. I know them, but I have not seen them. And it would be a really boring stream if 90% of what I was putting in the list was just, I haven't seen it. So we're not going to do that. But yes, basically you guys are going to watch me rank Cartoon Network shows. And if I remember correctly, we can scroll down here. Yeah, the person who made this pretty much put them in alphabetical order. So that's the order because we're going to go from top to bottom. I think they messed up somewhere around here because I noticed Batman the Animated Series is at the bottom, which does not come after Thundercats Roar. That would be up in B. And also technically wasn't a Cartoon Network show. It was syndicated on Cartoon Network, but you know what? Whatever. We'll include it anyway. And I did some minor modifications to the rankings because I felt that certain ones just didn't quite fit how I would personally rank some shows. So obviously at the top we have S rank, which is the best. We have A rank, which is great. The B rank, which is good. The C rank, which is meh. The D rank, which is mediocre. And the F rank, which is bad. And finally, the never seen it category. So that's our tier list. And pretty soon we're going to get started. I just want to take a look at the chat because I feel like I'm missing some questions. What is your most favorite and least favorite eras of Cartoon Network? Well, I guess you're going to find out soon, movie fan. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I remember watching Cartoon Network a lot. I especially liked Amazing World of Gumball. Well, you must have liked the thumbnail then because I put Gumball in there. Because I wanted to have like cartoons that represented certain generations. That's why it's Johnny Bravo, Gumball, and Mau Mau. Because to me, that's like, well, Johnny Bravo encompasses the late 90s to the the early aughts. Gumball represents, the 2010s, and Mao Mao represents, the new age of stuff. Yeah. And obviously, you guys probably are seeing Streamlabs bots posting links and things. Do not be worried about them. Those are just things you can do to support. You can donate, tip me with things like Ko-fi or Streamlabs tipping. Rest assured that is completely optional. You are not obligated to tip anything, but hey, if you want to, I ain't going to stop you, and I will greatly appreciate it. And we also have, this QR code at the bottom and the tiny URL you're going to see if you have not heard. I have a book coming out next year. So if you are interested in reading my upcoming book, just click that link or scan the QR code, and you'll be able to join the mailing list to be sent updates about the progress of the book and when it'll be available for purchase. Let's see. Hereditary Courage. What about that? I must have missed your context there. Seems like people are already getting ahead and putting the shows that they would put in certain ranks. Well, I won't keep you in too much suspense, but remember, just because I'm focusing on this does not mean I'm not reading the chat. If you have questions for me, go ahead and ask them, and I'll do my best to answer them. However, if you want them answered right away, I would recommend donating, because that'll cause me to immediately, pay attention to that, because I may end up missing your question, is all I'm saying. But again, that is not, obligatory. You don't have to do that. So, at any rate, let's begin with the rankings. And the first show, I guess fitting, is Two Stupid Dogs, which I believe, if people can correct me, I think that was one of the first original series ever produced for Cartoon Network. And I remember watching that show when it was on. It was good. I don't know if I'd necessarily put it in great, because I'd put it in good specifically because it's a good show. I remember it making me laugh, but I also recognize its cultural significance to the network, so it's definitely very important. But I don't know if I'd call it great. I'd have to watch it again from beginning to end to see how it holds up. I mean, I have seen clips resurface on Twitter of people rediscovering the show when it's very risque humor. So, I'm sure there are people that are just discovering it. 16. Now that was a show I remember watching before it even aired on Cartoon Network. I think people used to upload it on YouTube back in the day, and I like 16. Yeah, I think I'd also put that at good. It's not. I don't think it's a great show. It's really good. It's really good. It's a enjoyable show, but nothing too top tier. I personally don't think. Okay, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. Was that a Cartoon Network show, or was that a syndicated show? I don't remember. Was that on another network before it was on Cartoon Network? Honestly, I'm gonna have to put that one in meh, because I don't even know if that's a hot take or anything. I seldomly like the whole babification, if that's the term, the whole take a beloved IP and then turn them into children or babies, that sort of thing. It kind of rarely works. I mean, obviously Muppet Babies being one of the exceptions of that, being charming and working. But I don't know. I saw A Pup Named Scooby-Doo a lot, but I never liked it as much as other Scooby-Doo adaptations. Although I think some Animaniacs people worked on that show. I think Tom Ruger was a writer or something. Whatever. Adventure Time. Well, I mean, come on, that's a great show. Now, I'm going to put this in great only because this is the caveat. I have not finished Adventure Time. I've seen, I think, the first 4 or 5 seasons. I don't remember. Aren't there 8 seasons of Adventure Time? You guys can correct me. I have not finished Adventure Time, but I do love the show. I think it's a great show. My rank would probably go up higher if I had seen all of it, but I have not, so I don't think it is fair for me to put it in S if I have not seen the entire show. The best Scooby-Doo stuff is some of the direct-to-video animated movies. Some of them are not. They're not all great. Zombie Island will always be my favorite. There's a lot of Adventure Time. Yes, there is. It's more of a syndicated show because of okay. So So Puppet and Scooby-Doo aired on ABC. All right, so I was right. It wasn't a Cartoon Network show, technically. Almost Naked Animals. I've heard of this show, but I have never seen a single episode of it. Nothing about that looked appealing to me, so I would not bother watching that. It gets better as it goes on. Well, that's saying a lot because Adventure Time is really good. So if it gets even better, like, that's amazing. Speaking of amazing, Amazing World of Gumball. I love Gumball. Gumball is hilarious. God, I'm actually torn. Do I put this in S or great? Because how do I determine that? Because it's a really good, like, it's an above average show. But I mean, it does have its weak episodes, but I don't think I can put it down for that. But knowing what I would definitely put in S, I don't know if it would just feel odd to have Gumball, but I'm going to put it in great. I'm going to put it above Adventure Time a little bit, only because, again, unlike Adventure Time, I've actually seen every episode of Gumball, and it's fantastic. So I'm going to put it slightly above Adventure Time, but you know what? That is subject to change. I might change my mind later. Who knows? And welcome to the Discord, Andrew. I hope you enjoy it there. Apple and Onion. I've never seen this show. I always see it. I feel like I always see it advertised when I go to HBO Max. I always see these two characters. I think one of them is played by Richard Ayoade from the IT Crowd, but I've never seen it, so I'll have to put it there. Atomic Betty. I did see this show a lot. God, what year was that? That had to be like the early aughts. Like, what was that, 2005? I don't know, but I remember thinking it was like good. Like I would watch it a lot. So yeah, I'll put that in good at least. Baby Looney Tunes. That Baby Looney Tunes, or the show you watched when you were at home sick from school, because it was the only thing on at the time. So yeah, I have seen Baby Looney Tunes. Baby Looney Tunes is not a good show, honestly. I don't know if I'd call it bad, like it's not offensive, but I would definitely put it in mediocre. That's definitely a very low-ranking show. No disrespect to anyone involved, but yeah, just no it's a no from me. Batman Beyond. I mean, obviously that's S tier. Batman Beyond is a fantastic show. Like, it is so difficult to make a worthy successor to something like Batman the Animated Series, and Batman Beyond does it so well. It's such a good show. I don't even think I need to say a whole lot. It's Batman Beyond. I mean, it is great. Okay. I think this might throw people off. I've actually never seen Batman the Brave and the Bold. I have heard great things about it, and every time people pitch it to me, it sounds like, oh, I would absolutely love this show. But I've never seen it, so unfortunately, it's going to have to go into the never seen it category. Okay, we have a bunch of Ben 10s. Okay, I was not an avid Ben 10 watcher. I caught a few episodes every now and then, and I didn't dislike what I saw, but I was never... It never pulled me in too much to make me go, oh yeah, I've got to watch this, you know, as far as like the action shows were concerned. So even though, yeah, I've seen an episode here or there of Ben 10, I think I'm just going to put it in good, because I do acknowledge it's a well-made show, and I know a lot of people, you know, really love the original Ben 10. But as for the others, we're just going to dump all those and never see, because, you know, I've barely seen the original. Why would I have seen any of its sequels or reboots, whatever this last one is? Oh God, this one. What is it called? It's Batman... Caped Crusader? No, Beware the Batman. It's Beware the Batman. I like the aesthetic of it, but again, unfortunately, I've actually never sat down and watched it. So that's going to have to go and never seen it. I pass that along to you guys. Have any of you seen Beware the Batman? And what do you think? What are your thoughts on Beware the Batman? Had friends who love Ben 10, never got into it. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of in the same category, because I feel like I knew people that watched Ben 10 a lot, but Again, I only saw like an episode or two, and it's just I get again I from seeing those, it's like, all right, yeah, I could see it's a quality show. I'm just not being pulled in personally, but I've matured since then. I might revisit Ben 10, see how it is. Batman the Brave and the Bold has a great musical episode. Oh, really? All right, then, color me intrigued. Okay, Camp Lazlo. Longtime fans will know that I am a huge, fan of Joe Murray. Rocko's Modern Life is one of my all-time favorite shows, period. So, obviously, I love his second series, Camp Lazlo, a lot. God, I still rewatch Camp Lazlo, and I lose my shit laughing, so I'm going to have to put that in S tier for me personally, because it is such a funny show. And it's funny, especially if you love the Rocco style of humor, and it just works for me. Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Okay, I have seen Captain Planet, quite a few episodes. The show had good intentions. I think we can all agree on that. There was nothing malicious with Captain Planet's development. However, oh my god, it's such good cheese, So I almost want to put it in good, because it's definitely enjoyable in an ironic sort of way, because I think objectively it's a bad show, but it's in that same category of those really cheesy 80s cartoons that a lot of us love merely because they're cheesy in 80s. So, you know what? I'm going to put that in good. It's good, but with the asterisk of good to riff. And that's it is a good time. It is fun to watch with people. Chop Saki Chooks? I don't know what that is. Looks like it's karate chickens or something. I'm going to put that in never seen it. I've never even heard of that. Let's see. Chowder. Oh, Chowder's great. Chowder's really great. I think I'll have to put that in great. Might move to S tier. We'll see how it goes. Clarence, I remember really enjoying Clarence. I didn't finish the whole show because I think other shows were on or coming on at the time that took my attention away. But Clarence was fun. I thought Clarence was until Craig of the Creek came out, what I liked about Clarence was how much it captured being a kid, and playing with your friends. I thought it really did that very well. Also, the interesting fact that it takes place in Arizona, which is where I live, so that was a lot of fun. So I'd say Clarence is a good show. The creator of the show is a piece of shit, but the show itself is a good show. So good for that one. Okay. God, I think I saw maybe one episode of Class of 3000, and I love the art of that show. But I don't know what it was back when that show came out. I just was not interested. And again, it looked really good. Again, aesthetically, it's beautifully designed and animated. So I feel, because again, I've seen an episode, but I can't really rank it as a whole show because I haven't seen every episode. But so many people whose opinions I respect have gone on to say it's, a fantastic show. I know my friend Chrissy has, talked up and down about how good it is. And I do like musicals, so I don't know why I didn't just start watching Class of 3000. So for sake of convenience, I guess, or what have you, I'm going to put that in good because, again, I recognize its good qualities. I have not seen enough of it, but I do recognize the good qualities. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I knew they made this, but I've never seen it. I don't know. I don't really want to watch one of my favorite, Phil Lord and Chris Miller movies with them as kids. I feel like the charm is lost when you do that. So, I don't think I'll ever watch that. Code Lyoko. I think I saw a couple episodes of this show. I've never gotten a clear answer. Do people like this show? Is this considered a top tier action, what have you, from this era? because I saw like a couple episodes and I was intrigued by its look. Like it had like an Aeon Flux kind of vibe to it for me. Like obviously not as, not as distorted, but like I don't know, it was something about like the character's eyes or something that made me think of Aeon Flux at the time. The Clyde movie really doesn't hold up for me. I do not agree with that at all. I do not agree with that. Sorry to say. Yeah, apparently there was. There have been shows made by like Sony. Like there's a Hotel Transylvania show that I think is airing on Disney XD or something. Like I've heard about that one. Code Lyoko is the best theme song. Really? Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard the theme song, or at least I don't remember it. It's a French. Well, yeah, I kind of had a feeling it was French. Something about it you look at, it's like, that's French. Has some faults, but it's a good show. All right, then I'm at least going to put it in good. Again, I saw a couple episodes. I recognized, like, good things it was doing, but I, again, have not seen it. Okay. I am going to probably get a lot of flack for this one. For Codename Kids Next Door. All right. This is a hot take, I feel. Granted, because of what I see out there on places like social media and retrospective reviews and stuff like that. I don't like this show at all. I wouldn't say I greatly dislike it, but I do dislike the show, and a lot of it to me has to do with trying to figure out a way to put this in the words. Like, I like the idea of, kids like having okay, like I know I'm just twisting my words here, but yeah, I think the problem I've always had with Kids Next Door is, well, one, I don't like the kids. I think the kids themselves are kind of irritating characters, especially number 4. He's such a piece of shit. And not even really, to me, not a lovable one. He's just irritating. Number 1 can be a bit of a Again, I recognize these are their character traits, but I don't find enjoyment in watching them. And I think it was a missed opportunity with the concept of kids playing secret agents in a treehouse. Like, I think that's a cute and fun concept, but the fact that the show also wants you to take it seriously, like it's a real, like a Man from U.N.C.L.E. type show, and it's like, I feel like this would have worked better if this was all like in the kids' imaginations or what have you. Like, kind of like in Rugrats when the babies are playing and you always, cut back and forth between what they see in their imagination versus reality. That was always fun. So that always bothered me with Kids Next Door. I was like, they want me to take this seriously? Like, because I don't. I think a lot of these characters are irritating, and I'm not really engaged with these stories. And then, like, later on, they start to do, like, they're trying to serialize everything and be more dramatic, and it just falls apart for me. So, in my honest opinion, that's going to go in D for mediocre. I know there's a lot of fans for that show, and you know what? More power to you. I'm glad you see something in it that I do not. I remember enjoying Codename Kids Next Door when I was younger, but I understand your logic. All right, thank you. See, that's what I appreciate. It's like, I'm not saying that you're wrong in disliking. I'm not saying you're wrong in liking it, but I'm also not wrong in disliking it. Is all I'm saying. Like, I feel like I've made my case, and I also feel like a lot of people left as soon as they started hearing me disco Codename Kids Next Door. I think we had 20 viewers in the. Sorry, everybody. Let's see. Courage. Okay, I mean, that's S tier. Absolutely. Like, that's hands down one of the greatest Cartoon Network shows ever made. I mean, if you guys haven't already, go check out my review for the complete series DVD they made. And how much I love Courage the Cowardly Dog. It is so good. Like, pretty much, it was, for a while, it was my generation's, like, Twilight Zone. Just, it's such a great blend of horror and comedy. It's fantastic. Cow and Chicken. Okay, I like Cow and Chicken. I'm trying to think of where I would rank this one, because, like, Cow and Chicken, like any show of its caliber, it does have episodes that fall flat, and Also, it depends on your tolerance for like crude, crass kind of humor. But like, I don't know if I'd put it in great. It's a very high good, I would say. I'm going to put that above all the other goods because it's really good. And I mean, Charlie Adler, a national treasure, really. National treasure, Charlie Adler. And if you love Charlie Adler, like I do, oh my God. There are two people in this world whose voices just, as soon as I hear them, I get uncontrollably happy. And those two voices are Charlie Adler and Dana Snyder. So there you go. Craig of the Creek. Craig of the Creek is great. I have not seen every single episode made, but I have seen a lot of them, and it is a great time. I would definitely make that. That's a really high grade. I think I would put that just under Gumball. Again, simply because I've seen all of Gumball, but I have not seen all of Craig. But all of Craig that I have seen, it's a fantastic show. And again, kind of like Clarence, I think it's I obviously rank it higher than Clarence because Craig just hits even closer with the whole, it understands what it was like to be a kid and to go out and play with your friends. And to me, especially the playing in the woods part, because where I grew up in the East Coast, a lot of us, played in the woods, so it definitely speaks to me on a personal level. So Craig is fantastic. The Cramp Twins. Wasn't that a Foxbox show? I swear to God that was on Foxbox before it was ever on Cartoon Network. And correct me, is that French-Canadian? It has to be, right? If it's not French-Canadian, then maybe it's French. I don't know. I only saw like maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and it's... I'm going to put that in meh, because I don't remember it being like really, really bad, but I also would... There's no part of me that makes me go, oh yeah, I should revisit the Cramp Twins. Like, has anyone ever said that until just now? Has anyone ever said the sentence, I'm going to go revisit Cramp Twins? Like, seriously, think about that. Super cow al rescate. Yes, of course. I remember having a teacher who let us watch Courage whenever we couldn't go outside for recess. You had a really awesome teacher then, Koopa Dude. That's incredible. DC Superhero Girls. I know I've seen like one episode. I know this is like the Lauren Faust show who worked on, who created the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. It looked like it looks like a cute show. I would probably put it in good, in that what I have seen I have enjoyed, and I would definitely watch more of it if I had the time. At least there hasn't been an F yet. Yeah, we haven't gotten to F shows, in my opinion, just yet. Dexter's Laboratory. Okay, this is a hard one because the Tartakovsky run of Dexter is great. However, the Chris Savino revival seasons, those are bad. Those are really bad. So I'm going to put Dexter after Cow and Chicken in good, and it only gets that low of a rating because if it weren't for the Chris Savino years, it would be a great show. But because, and hell, like, the image they're using is of the Chris Savino years, so it's not helping its case. Dexter's Lab is a tier for me. I love Dexter's Lab. Again, I like Dexter's Lab too, but it's that revival season that really ruins it for me. So at the very least, I'm going to say it's good. It's a really good show. Again, it's a very high good. Okay, I didn't even know there was a How to Train Your Dragon show on Cartoon Network, so that's going to go in Never Seen. Oh, Duck Dodgers. All right, I absolutely love Duck Dodgers. And oh my God, like, Joe Alasky will always be my favorite Daffy. I'm no disrespect to Jeff Bergman or anyone else who's ever played the character, but Joe Alasky he's my Daffy. And I mean, Bob Bergen, I got to interview him, last year for my book, and he's a swell guy. I love this show. I love the theme song that they did to nod James Bond's Thunderball. It's so good, and oh my god, and the guest stars, Tarantino was even in an episode. That show is great. I'm gonna put it before Chowder. I really love Duck Dodgers, so that's going up. Ed, and Eddie, no contest. That's S tier. That is top S tier. That is my all-time favorite Cartoon Network show. It always will be. It is so good. I saw the premiere episode in, God, what was it, 1999, and just absolutely fell in love with it. I never missed a single episode. I bought the complete series DVD recently, which isn't really a complete series, but more on that in my future video on the topic. So do I have to express how great a show Ed, and Eddie is? Like, it's just there's no other show like it. And I don't think there's been a show like it since. Really. Like, it's an enigma. It's an incredible show. Ed, and Eddie will never be released on Blu-ray, Movie Review Guy. Give it up. That's never happening because there are no HD masters. There's no reason to put it on Blu-ray. Like, period. If they did put it on Blu-ray, I would at least want them to include the shit that they forgot to put on the DVD, but a DVD is fine. Evil Con Carne, that was after they split off Grim and Evil into their own separate shows, which honestly they always should have been, because in my opinion, one show was significantly stronger than the other one. And Evil Con Carne is not a bad show, but it's not nearly as good as Billy and Mandy, so... Because I remember there were episodes where I did laugh, so I'm going to put it in good, at least. Like, again, it's not something I'd be like, oh, you have to see it. But it's not bad. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, that is a great show. That is a really great show, but I don't know if I'd call it S tier. It's a very high grade. I think I'd even put it above... You know what? I might put it above Gumball, and that's only because I have more sentimental value with Foster's than Gumball, because, I didn't grow up with Gumball. I was much older when Gumball came out. But, yeah, it's a really great show. Again, it's not S tier only because... I'm trying to think of why am I not putting it in S tier? There are a few episodes that don't quite work. I mean... The Bendy episode comes to mind as a really bad episode. But it's a really great show, so. Yes, it's by Craig McCracken, the guy who made Powerpuff Girls. The Garfield Show. Okay, I've seen a couple episodes of the Garfield Show, and I love Garfield. This show in particular, I'd have to put it in meh. It's not nearly as good as Garfield and Friends, although that's a real hard act to follow, to be honest. And I have no problem with them doing it in CG, but Frank Welker's Garfield, I can't get used to it. It's not a very good impression in my opinion. It should have been Maurice LaMarche, but that's not the world I live in, so meh for Garfield. Generator Rex. I have never seen a single episode of this show, so we're going to put that in never seen. George of the Jungle. I saw like maybe 2 episodes, and I didn't really care for it. I don't know if I'd call it bad necessarily, because I haven't seen every episode to, rank it as like bad, so I'll put that in mediocre. It's not great. Okay, this one may get some people a little twisted, but I actually have not seen the Green Lantern show that Bruce Timm... Was it Bruce Timm? I think Bruce Timm worked on this show. I feel like he did. I heard great things about it, but I have not seen it myself, so... Okay. To be honest, Billy and Mandy for me that's S tier. Like, Billy and Mandy just makes me cry laughing anytime I watch it. It was almost Cartoon Network's equivalent to Invader Zim with a lot of its dark humor. Granted, it never goes to the extreme lengths that Invader Zim would go to, but it gets real close with a lot of its jokes. So yeah, and I absolutely adore it. I still rewatch it and laugh my ass off every time. Billy and Mandy's great. Grim and Evil, on the other hand, that's difficult because it's that thing of one show is good and the other is just eh. So it's kind of weird that they even have this on here. But I mean, I guess because it was a show that existed at one time, so I'll have to put that at meh. And again, that's mostly because of it being a combination, and it didn't work, in my opinion. It was Billy and Mandy that won the poll, for the big pick, not Evil Con Carne. So who the hell wanted to watch Evil Con Carne at the time? Nobody. That's who. It is not a kid's version of Family Guy because, for one, Billy and Mandy is funny. Okay, the 2002 He-Man? I don't think I've ever seen this one. If I did, I can't recall. So that's going to go in never seen. Hi, Puffy Amayumi. I loved this show, and I love the band. So I would definitely put it in good. It was such a charming show. And, again, who doesn't love Puffy? Puffy's a great, J-rock band. So I Am Weasel. Now, I don't know if I would put it. I would definitely put it lower than Cow and Chicken. I think I would put it just under Dexter's Laboratory. I Am Weasel's a funny show. I don't think it's as funny as Cow and Chicken. And at the very least, compared to Grim and Evil, the combination of Cow and Chicken and I Am Weasel worked better because I don't know why it worked better. It just did. It just kind of did. Well, we might be getting a complete series DVD for Billy and Mandy. Who knows? It's looking promising these days. Infinity Train. Okay, I haven't seen a lot of Infinity Train. I've seen quite a few episodes. Again, my friend Chrissy showed me a lot of them. And it's an intriguing show. I was definitely invested in it. So I'm going to put it in good. But I don't really know where to rank it in good because, again, I recognize from watching it it's a good show, and I'm sure it's going to get even better. I might just put it above all the rest because I know it's a really good show just from watching it. Johnny Bravo, my man. God, Johnny Bravo is absolutely hysterical. I wouldn't put it in S tier because there was a season when Van Partible was gone and it kind of suffered greatly, but I would definitely put that as a really high grade. Johnny Bravo is an absolutely killer show. Absolutely hilarious. Johnny is a funny character. And even Seth MacFarlane and Butch Hartman have funny episodes. Can you believe that? Johnny Test. Okay. Johnny Test. I don't know how I feel about Johnny Test because I don't hate it as much as other people do, but I also don't think it's a great show. I think, to me, it's somewhere in between. Like, I can watch it, and I have laughed at jokes they have done, but again, I completely understand why people don't like it. But I don't hate it as much. I have a higher tolerance for Johnny Test, so I'm going to put it in meh, but I'll definitely put it as a high meh at the least for me personally. Justice League. Well, I mean, come on. Those are S tier, really. Like the DC animated universe shows, those are S tier for me. Like both Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, like those are fantastic shows. No contest. You have an incredible cast, an bulletproof set of writers. Just perfection. It is perfection. Justice League Action. I have heard great things about this show. I've seen clips, but I have not seen a whole episode. So, from what I have seen, it is really good. So I'm gonna put that in good, but it's a low good because I have not seen a whole episode. Crypto the Superdog. I saw a few episodes of that show. I thought it was cute. Where would I put that? Because, like, it's not... Objectively, it's not a good show, but it's such a harmless program. Like it's a fucking dog superhero. Like how can you hate it, you know? So I guess I'd put it in meh, but like a pretty high meh, because just like it's good, but I wouldn't own the show and I wouldn't watch it all the time, but if it was on, I'd watch it. League of Super Evil. I saw a few episodes of this. I didn't know it aired on Cartoon Network. I thought it was I assume it was a YTV show. I think I saw it when it was on Netflix or something. But yeah, I remember a few episodes making me laugh. I can't really rank it as a whole because, again, I haven't seen every episode, but I liked what I saw. I guess I'd put that in a very low good. Life and Times of Juniper Lee. I saw quite a few episodes of this show. It was fine. Like, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. If it was on, I would watch it just because, what else is there to do? Again, I guess I'd put that in a really high meh. Just above Crypto, because I feel like between these, you know what? No, that should probably be above Giant Test. I feel like just looking at it, Juniper Lee is probably an objectively better show than these two. So we'll put it as a very high meh. I never seen Johnny Test, not because I've grown out of. I'm never too old for Cartoon Network at the time. I've never too old for cartoons at all. Is because I don't watch TV that much back. Yeah, that's fair. I had that same problem. Wait, Johnny Test's theme song is a parody of American Idiot? Oh my god, I think you're right. I'm remembering it, and yeah, it doesn't hit. It hits a lot of notes as American Idiot. That's it. Huh. Alright, what is this? Long Live the Royals. I've never even heard of this show, so that goes and never seen it. Okay. The Looney Tunes show, honestly for me, that's S tier. That show is so goddamn good. It is hysterical. To me, it perfectly takes a beloved IP that I love and shakes it up in the right way. Like it just works. Putting Bugs and Daffy in a Seinfeld-esque sitcom setting is just perfect. And oh my god, the jokes in that show. It is so the writing is so sharp in the Looney Tunes show. A lot of those people, if I remember, they went on to make Mike Tyson Mysteries, which is another great show. So that is definitely S tier. Okay. I have seen Mad get a reevaluation recently. Like, a lot of people are rediscovering the show and actually realizing like how funny it actually was. And I'm a Mad Magazine fan. I always have been. I loved Mad TV, and I liked Mad, the Cartoon Network show. I thought it was funny. I thought, because I defend it like this because when it came out, the criticism of it was hostile. Like, people hated the show, and I genuinely was just like, do you just not get Mad's humor? Like, yes, it's crass and juvenile, because it's Mad Magazine. Mad Magazine has always been crass and juvenile. And I like that. Not every comedy needs to be sharp and witty. Sometimes it could just be a fucking poop joke. Like, that's not beneath me. So I really love Mad. I would put that in. That's a really high good. I would put it just under Infinity Train for me personally. And that show still makes me laugh, and even its theme song still just gets in my head. Just hey, I'm a boy. Like, it's so stupid, but it works for the show. It's a good show. Oh, Mau Mau. Okay, Mau Mau's a more recent show, and oh my god, it is so good. I don't think there is a single episode of Mau Mau I disliked. I'm honestly going to have to put that in S tier, and I'm probably going to put it... I'm going to put it right under Billy and Mandy. Like, that's where I see it. It is an S tier show. If you have not seen Mau Mau, please watch it. It is so good. You will not regret it. People said it was bad for being crass and juvenile. That's the point. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Mad Robot Chicken for kids. It pretty much was. Like I think a couple of Robot Chicken writers even worked on the show, although I'm gonna be honest. I think some Mad sketches were a lot funnier than their Robot Chicken counterparts. So there's that. That's my 2 cents. Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Okay, I mean that is a great show. And also an extremely important show because so many people who worked on Flapjack went on to make some of the best shows on Cartoon Network, like, afterward. You know, J.G. Quintel was on that show. God, it wasn't... I'm trying to remember. What wasn't the creator of Over the Garden Wall? Patrick McHale, I think he was on Flapjack, too. I think he wrote an episode or was a storyboard artist or something. There was a lot of crew members on Flapjack that went on to make shows for Cartoon Network that we all love. So for that alone, and again, it's a great show, I think that has to go in S tier because of what it ended up doing for the network and changing the game. It is a culturally and historically significant program for that network. Megas XLR, that is a great show. I absolutely love it. I don't know if I'd necessarily put it in S tier, but it's really good. I would definitely put it as, like, it's a really high grade. Like, and that cast, oh my god, Steve Bloom and oh god, what's his name? David DeLuise, I think his name is. The characters are great. It's such a good show. It's a shame that it got written off for tax purposes. Mighty Magiswords. I absolutely adore this show. I love, the creator. I'm, very friendly with Kyle A. Carosa. I'm even friends with one of the production people, Luke Ski, who did storyboards and voice acting on the show. I have a lot of love for Mighty Magiswords. I believe it was completely mishandled by the network. It deserved so much better. I wouldn't put it in S tier, but again, it's a really high good. I think I would put it just above Johnny Bravo for me personally. Mike Lou and Og. Okay. I saw a lot of Mike Lou and Og. I thought it was boring, honestly. Like, I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a comedy because I never laughed, like, once. So, and I don't like talking like this because I'm a staunch believer of don't apply today's political correctness to something that's like 20, 30, even like 50 years old. But I do feel like Mike Lou and Og, if people rediscovered it, I just have this feeling it's probably culturally insensitive. So I'm definitely putting that in mediocre because I never once laughed. And I don't, if it was supposed to be a comedy, in my opinion, it failed. I never laughed watching Mike Lou and Og. Mixels, I have never heard of it, so therefore I have never seen it. The Moxie Show, I mean, that's definitely an important show. Because I think it was the first original program ever made for Cartoon Network. It was not a, it was not a show. It was like a programming block, if I remember correctly. I only saw, because it was on before I had cable, so I would not have seen the Moxie Show when it was on, but I have seen clips on YouTube, for its cultural significance, so I'll put that in a low good, because again, I recognize its importance to the history of the channel, but I have not seen enough to gauge whether or not I like it. So I'll just put that in good. Okay. Mucha Lucha is not a good show. Okay? Just understand that. It is not a good show. Objectively, it's a bad show. But that theme song fucking slaps. Alright? I think we could all agree. Even if you did not watch Mucha Lucha, you let the theme song play and then you switched channels. Like, nothing will get you more hyped or just give you the goosebumps than the luchador announcer just screaming, "Yo, lucha!" Like, it's again, it's honestly such a good theme song for an incredibly mediocre show. So I'm putting that in mediocre only because it doesn't get F, only because that theme song fucking slaps real goddamn hard. It has no right to be as good as it is. Yeah, it was on Kids WB, but I guess it's also, this tier list is also including shows that were syndicated on Cartoon Network, and Mucha Lucha was syndicated. My Gym Partner's a Monkey. I remember that being a really funny show. I don't recall seeing every single episode ever. I saw a significant amount. I would definitely put that in good. And I think objectively I would put it just under, because I think, wasn't it the same time as Class of 3000? I feel like it was the same year. But I feel like Class of 3000 was probably objectively the better show. Ninjago, I've never seen. So, never seen that. OKKO, that's a good show. I've not seen a lot of episodes of OKKO. I definitely saw the Sonic crossover episode, which I thought was incredibly charming, especially if you're, an old Sonic fan. Like, you can really appreciate all the nods, winks, and references they threw in there. So I would definitely put that's a high grade. God. It's okay, maybe it's not a high grade, because again, I haven't seen enough episodes, but I think aesthetically it's a little more interesting. No, we're just gonna put it there. I know I'm flip-flopping here, but yeah, it's great. It's a great show. I would just need to see a lot more of it to have a final decision on it. Tom Kenny was hilarious as the monkey. Oh yeah, My Gym Partner's a Monkey. I was like, I don't think Tom Kenny was a monkey in OKKO, unless he was. Over the Garden Wall. That's a fantastic miniseries. That to me is an S tier. I would probably put it right here. Like, that was a captivating show. Like, I loved every episode of it, and God, Christopher Lloyd, if I remember correctly, it was Christopher Lloyd, right? He was like the huntsman, I think, in that show. Correct me in the comments, but if it was, like, oh my God, his performance was so good. Like a huntsman or a woodsman, or I forgot what they called him, but I just remember if it was Christopher Lloyd, he played like a character who roamed the woods, and he carried like a lantern, and he was so good. And even Tim Curry, who's basically retired from voice acting, he had one of his last roles in Over the Garden Wall, and it was touching and sweet to just hear him one last time. As someone who's gotten has had the opportunity to meet Tim Curry, he's a wonderful man. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland and Studio Ghibli. I've never heard Studio Ghibli comparisons, to be honest, but It definitely wears its influences on its sleeve, but in a good way. It doesn't feel like it's taking too much. It's very much its own original thing, and it's fantastic. It is a great watch. You can watch it in a day. It's a miniseries. It only has a few episodes. All right. What do we have next? Ozzy and Drix. Wasn't it a Kids WB show? I swear it was. Ozzy and Drix is... It's fine. It's watchable. I'd have to put that in meh. I'd watch it if it was on, but otherwise it was just like, yeah, whatever. And it really was the show of, well, there's nothing else good on, so. Smashing. Powerpuff Girls. Obviously that is S tier. I think I would put it just above Courage. Like, just above. Powerpuff Girls is so good. Like, I don't think anyone would argue its place as an S tier show. In terms of theming, it does seem to have inspiration from Ghibli. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Over the Garden Wall definitely has, like, Ghibli-esque themes to it. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I think we have our first F with the Powerpuff Girls reboot. That was terrible. Oh, oh my God! Just I I have no words for just how bad that show really is. And again, no disrespect to anyone who worked on it. You know, a paycheck is a paycheck. But the end product was terrible. Just it was everything that the original show wasn't. It was revolting. It was just absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. And speaking of garbage, the Problem Solvers. That to me is a little worse than Powerpuff Girls because it is genuinely painful to watch. The fucking colors, the character designs, it is hideous. Hideous fucking show. Just awful. Problem Solvers is awful. Regular Show. Oh, Regular Show is a great show. That's definitely a very high grade. I think I would put it above Foster's, definitely. Regular Show is hilarious. Like, watch it if you haven't. I'd be surprised if you haven't, but watch it. Robot Boy, I have never seen. So, there you go. Robotomy. I have seen quite a few episodes of Robotomy. It is a funny show, and I love the people who worked on it. Like, they had a lot of Super Jail crew members work on that show. I think Christy Carcass was like a director or something. So that's definitely going to go in good. I think I'll put it above Two Stupid Dogs. Like, it's a really good show. It's really funny. Okay. Samurai Jack is a masterpiece. I actually still have not seen the new. I shouldn't call it the new season, but you know, the revival season. I have the complete series box set, but I have not had the time. I have not set aside the time to just watch it. But Samurai Jack is genuinely just. It is art in every sense of the word. It is one of the greatest shows ever made. That is S tier, and I think I would put it. Honestly, I think I'd put it above Batman Beyond. It is that good. Like, it is an incredible show. Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Okay, I saw like one episode of Mystery Incorporated, and I was not impressed with it. But every person I know has told me that I need to pick the show back up and continue because it apparently gets a lot better than its initial first few episodes. But for me, I'm going to put it in meh. Again, only because I only saw the one episode. I was not impressed. I didn't think it was horrible. I did not like it, but I can't put it in mediocre. Like, I know from hearing enough that it apparently gets better, and, you know, it's far from the worst Scooby-Doo show out there. Like, you know, it's no Shaggy and Scooby get a clue, you know? Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. I have heard of this show. I have never seen an episode. I know it's from Peter Braungart, I believe his name is, the creator of Uncle Grandpa. So we'll put that in never seen it. Secret Saturdays, I have also never seen. A lot of the action shows just never really piqued my interest, at least from that era of like the Ben 10s and the Generator X or whatever the fuck it was called, and Secret Saturdays. Like, none of that ever piqued my interest. That just, I don't know. The only action shows I was watching were Samurai Jack and Teen Titans. Like, that was pretty much it. All right, Sheep in the Big City. That's a good show. I feel like that's a show that gets better when you get older because you can appreciate its dry humor a lot more. So I would put that in good. I think I'd put it above Two Stupid Dogs again. Its humor is, it's very like Rocky and Bullwinkle-esque with its humor, with its dry humor and non sequiturs and stuff like that, and puns and wordplay. It's a good show. It is 100% worth revisiting, I would say. Generator Rex, thank you, movie fan. Generator Rex. Skunk Fu? Never seen it. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Sonic Boom. Well, if you haven't seen my video on the Sonic Boom DVD, I really love Sonic Boom. I think it's hilarious. I would definitely put that in great. I think I'd put it above Johnny Bravo just a little bit because there are episodes of Sonic Boom where I just, again, cried laughing. So, yeah, that's definitely a really great show for me. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I mean, that show gave birth to Adult Swim. It's a funny-ass show. If it's not S tier, it's like the highest grade you can get, but you know what? No, I'm going to put it in S tier simply, again, because it paved the way for Adult Swim, and that to me is important. And again, it's a good show. It's funny as hell. Squirrel Boy. I saw like one episode of Squirrel Boy. I think it was from Everett Peck, the late Everett Peck, who created Duckman and worked on the real Ghostbusters as a character designer. He was a great artist. Miss him terribly. But I only saw like one episode of Squirrel Boy, so I'm gonna have to put that in meh. Because, I saw one episode, I don't remember much, I don't remember disliking it, but I just don't remember a lot. I haven't seen one full episode of Sonic Boom, I've only watched clips. The clips is what made me want to watch the show, is I thought the clips were really funny, and I ended up really liking the show. Tartakovsky's Clone Wars is fantastic. That's a really high grade for me. Like, it's not as good as Samurai Jack, but it is so on point. It is really great. And I don't really like the Star Wars prequels, but I think we can all agree at least that Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, if there ever needed to be prequels for Star Wars, it just needed to be the Tartakovsky Clone Wars. Like, that's kind of all you ever really need. Honest to God. Like, and I think to this day, granted, I haven't seen a lot of like new Star Wars shows, I think Clone Wars is the best Star Wars thing ever made since the original trilogy, because it's not just more Star Wars, it does unique things with its story. My favorite episode is the one where Mace Windu is just taking out an army of droids and there's not a single word uttered. It's like a Samurai Jack episode. It's fantastic. It is unbelievable. I hate that show is kind of, correct me, I think it's been retconned in place of the CG show, and I'm not dissing the CG show because I know a lot of people like it, but I just think it's wrong to just completely dismiss Tartakovsky's Clone Wars because of just how fantastic its storytelling is. Speaking of which, CGI Clone Wars. I have never seen a single episode, and I will be the first to admit right here, right now, it was because I was put off by the idea of a CG version of a show I already really liked that just felt like it's like, from outside looking in, it just was like, this isn't doing anything, interesting with it. But again, I know a lot of people who have told me that I still need to at least check it out because apparently it is still pretty good, but I have not watched it. And I will admit I was stubborn about not wanting to watch it because I love Tartakovsky's version so much. Static Shock. Static Shock is a great show. Like, that's a really high grade. I think I'd put it just under Megas XLR, only because I feel like Megas just deserves a little more praise because, it got a raw deal. But Static Shock is a fantastic show. Steven Universe. I really like Steven Universe. I don't know what, like, if that's a hot take or whatever. I don't. Steven Universe is always flip-floppy as far as, like, how people perceive it. But I liked it. I would definitely put it as a really high grade. I think I would put it... I'm going to have to put it above Adventure Time only because I have seen every episode of Steven Universe. I have not seen every episode of Adventure Time. So by that alone, it's going higher than Adventure Time for that reason. That is not a way to say that it is a better show than Adventure Time. But it is just merely, how much have I seen versus. What do we have next? What the fuck is that? Stormhawks? The fuck is that? Does anyone know what that is? Like, anyone know what that is? At any rate, I've never seen it, so goes in there. Summer Camp Island, genuinely, I dislike because I think it's one of the ugliest looking shows I've ever seen. And it's not Problem Solvers ugly, but I can't explain it. I just fucking hate the design and the look of the whole show. It's disgusting. And yeah, I don't like it. I think it's a hideous looking show. Sunday Pants. I kind of remember Sunday Pants. I think if I remember, it was like a programming block where they aired a bunch of shorts. But I think I saw maybe one episode, but I don't really remember. I'll just put it in meh because, again, I don't remember much. I don't remember disliking. Let's see. Yeah, I see. All right. See, a lot of you guys actually actually liking Steven Universe. Sergeant Chris over here. What makes me a sergeant? I'm confused by that. SWAT Cats. SWAT Cats is a fun show. I remember seeing that back in the day. I think it was on... Wasn't it on Toonami at one point? I swear it was. I would definitely put that in great. It's probably... I'd put it just under Duck Dodgers. It's a great show. Symbiotic Titan. Okay, I've never seen an episode of Symbiotic Titan. I have heard great things about it. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to put that in never seen it. But you know what? No, we should. I shouldn't make any rankings because it's never seen. It should just stay alphabetical. I was going to put it really high because it's like I understand it's a really great show, but I've just personally not seen it yet. No Seeing Real on this list. Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad there's no Seeing Real because that would have just been a bunch of haven't seen it, because I was not watching Cartoon Network when they did that. I was basically protesting at the time. Oh, good. I said, what the fuck is that? I was like the Gunny in Full Metal Jacket. I gotcha. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Teen Titans Go. Okay. This may be a hot take. I don't hate Teen Titans Go as much as a lot of people on YouTube do. Now, again, I don't think it's great. It has a lot of episodes I don't like. But there are a lot of episodes that are genuinely one of the funniest things I've seen. It is such a mixed bag show. So because it's a mixed bag, I'm going to have to put it in meh. Because, again, I do not love the show, but I do not hate it as violently as other people do. I do think there are episodes that are really funny and really clever. Not all of them are, but a lot of them are. And I enjoy those episodes specifically. Yes, it's very hit and miss. I think it misses more than it hits, but you know what? When it hits, it really fucking hits. I mean, no contest. Teen Titans is a fucking S-tier show. I'm going to put that right between Batman Beyond and Samurai Jack. I fucking love Teen Titans. Genuinely one of the best DCEU shows out there. Like, unbelievably good. Thundercats. Okay, I've never seen the Thundercats reboot, but I heard so many great things about it. But again, unfortunately, I never saw it. I will see it one of these days because everything about it just looked really good. Tig and Seek, never seen. Time Squad was a good show. I remember enjoying that show a lot. I would definitely that would be a high good show. I think I'd put it right under Sheep in the Big City. Right there. And Total Drama Island, I remember liking at least the first season of Total Drama. I think that's, at the very least, that's an important show. I think I'd put it under 16 because I feel like 16 is technically the better made show. Again, Total Drama Island is really good. It's a fun watch. Now for its other shows. The Redonkulous Race, I don't remember much. I'll just put that one in Mac because I really don't remember. Total Drama Rama, I mean, obviously that problem I have with it's the characters, but they're children now. And also I had to edit that Saberspark video for the farting fairy that sniffs children's farts, and I'm going to put this in mediocre, and it's probably the lowest ranking one because And you know what? At least Mucha Lucha doesn't feel sexualized, if that makes any sense. Totally Spies. Okay, Totally Spies, admittedly. Totally Spies is a guilty pleasure. It's not a good show by any means, but I feel like it's a guilty pleasure along the same lines of people who like Miraculous Ladybug. Like, you're like, well, we don't think it's a good show, but we'll watch it. So I'm gonna put it in a very low good because again, it's good for me. I enjoy watching it, but it is not a good show. Yeah, I wouldn't, just go to Saber Sparks channel, Illusion Light, and if you're brave enough, you'll find it. The thing has almost 1 million views at this point. Transformers Animated. Now, I remember liking Transformers Animated. I don't remember if it was because if I remember correctly, wasn't it the same guy who did Super Robot Monkey Team? Ciro Nieli, I think his name was. I swear it was the same guy. And I remember it being a good show. I don't know if I'd rank it amongst some of my favorite Transformers shows, but it was a good show. So I'll put it at good, but I'll definitely rank it fairly highly. Because, it's Transformers. Uncle Grandpa. Okay. Another seeming hot take and a guilty pleasure. I genuinely think Uncle Grandpa's hilarious. And when this show came out, oh my god, much like Mad, the hostility towards this show. And I was so taken aback by it. It's like, why do we hate this show so much? What's it doing wrong? And genuinely, I think it was just because the shape of Cartoon Network was changing at the time, with shows like Steven Universe and Adventure Time, and Regular Show, which again, these are great shows. But I guess people just really didn't want a show that was just, slapsticky, being a cartoon for some reason on Cartoon Network. That was my 2 cents. I don't know if that's accurate, but that was my takeaway at the time. I was like, do people just hate this show because it's not like all the other shows that are on right now? Which really isn't fair, because I think Steven Universe should be able to exist at the same time as a show like Uncle Grandpa and not be treated with such vitriol just because it's not, a thinking man's show. So I'm going to put Uncle Grandpa in good. I think I'll put it right under bad, because both these shows were given the same kind of hostile treatment that honestly they didn't really deserve. Unikitty, I have never seen a single episode. I'm sure it's a cute show. I mean, I love the character in the Lego movie, but I've never seen her show. Victor and Valentino, never seen it. I have heard good things, but I have never seen it. Villainous. Is there even a whole show for that yet? Like, I know there's a bunch of shorts and like one 11-minute episode, and I love it. I love the designs of the characters. I love the humor. There's like a joke in one of the shorts that I still think is absolutely genius staging. So that's going to go in great, but because I don't recall there being an actual full-length show, I'm going to have to put it pretty low, but it is really great. We Bare Bears. We Bare Bears was a good show. It was to me, We Bare Bears is sort of the quintessential like comfort show. Like, it's easy. It's kind of like easy listening. It's easy viewing. It's very laid back. It's not aggressive. And again, not dissing shows that are like, aggressive or anything. But We Bare Bears is such a nice show. I would put that in. That's a really high good. I think I'd put it right under Infinity Train. What a Cartoon! That was a fun programming block. A lot of shorts there. I think Larry and Steve, the proposed pilot from Seth MacFarlane before Family Guy, was on that show. There was a lot of. I remember there being a lot of great shorts on What a Cartoon. So I would definitely put that as good. I think I would put it. I'll put it before Two Stupid Dogs, I feel. Whatever Happened to Robot Jones? I remember liking that show. I saw a lot of episodes. I thought it was good. I really liked its I really liked the art aesthetic. It had like a Schoolhouse Rock, but with like a notebook sketchiness to it that I thought was really unique. And yeah, that was a good show, in my honest opinion. I think I would put it, ironically, I'll put it right above Robotomy. We have two robot shows right there in the good section. And What's New Scooby-Doo? Okay, I know this is considered a hot take. A lot of people don't like What's New Scooby-Doo. I actually do. And, I mean, the Simple Plan theme song, come on. Like, it's great. I would put it in good, but I wouldn't put it as a very high good. I think I would put it, I'd put it above Evil Con Carne, at least, for me. Like, that would be my ranking for What's New Scooby-Doo. Shaolin Showdown. Correct me, wasn't that a kids' WB show? Either way, I've never seen it. Was never really interested in it. Young Justice. I saw, like, the first season of Young Justice. It was a good show. Again, I understand it gets even better, and I love the DC animated universe, so I'm going to put it as a really high good. I'd put it above We Bare Bears, because I definitely liked the first season, but I've only seen the first season. I need to watch more of it. Annoying Orange. That show, oh god, like, it's a bad show, but it's not nearly as bad as, like, Problem Solvers. Like, again, it's really bad, and to me, the only thing that it had going for it was, you know, aging like milk now, but Tobuscus's character in the show, like, to me, he was the saving grace and why I would watch it, because otherwise the Annoying Orange was, well, true to his name, he was annoying, which I don't think I can really follow, because it's like, well, he's supposed to be annoying. Whether or not I find it funny is a whole nother matter. I'm gonna have to put it in mediocre, because there are things about it that I could appreciate, but I don't think it's overall a good show, like, at all. But it is bordering on bad. Let me tell you. Yeah, Nerval, that was the character. Yeah, Hero 108. Never even heard of it. So, Thundercats Roar. I was not interested in that in the slightest, so I did not watch it. Okay, Batman the Animated Series. I mean, come on. That's S tier. And honestly, I'm going to have to put it above all of these shows, even at Ed and Eddie, only because Batman is just such a... It is a trend-setting show. Like, it is so important. It is so unbelievably well done, and just one of the greatest shows ever made in every sense. The acting, and, you know, unfortunately, yes, as some have mentioned, you know, we lost Kevin Conroy not too long ago. You know, bless him. I hope he's, I hope he's okay wherever he is. But it was such a good show. I don't think there's a single person in this world that would disagree that it is, like, top tier. And Superman the Animated Series. Superman the Animated Series is fantastic. It's not as good as Batman, but that's a really hard act to follow. But I would definitely put it below Teen Titans. Like, that is S tier. Still one of the greatest Superman things ever made. Elliot from Earth. Never heard of it, so that goes in never seen. We Baby Bears. I have seen clips, but I've not seen an episode, so I'm going to put that in never seen. Jellystone. I've seen the first season. It was hilarious. I would put that as a really high good. I would put it above We Bare Bears. There's a quote from an episode that we reference all the time, Chrissy and I, in calls, where it's just like the wrestling episode with Yogi Bear. And he just fucking, like, he crushes a child. Like, I won't even spoil the joke. Go watch the episode. You will laugh your ass off. The Fungies. Never heard of it. So, therefore, never seen it. And finally, Steven Universe Future. I would put that in the same category as Steven Universe. So, to be fair, I'll put it just after Steven Universe. Because just like how I've not seen every episode of Adventure Time, I have seen every episode of Steven Universe Future. So, yeah. And that's it. We have done the entire Cartoon Network programming tier list. So what do we have? In S tier, we have Batman the Animated Series, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Samurai Jack, Teen Titans, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Camp Lazlo, Powerpuff Girls, the original, Courage the Cowardly Dog, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Mau Mau, Over the Garden Wall, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, The Looney Tunes Show, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and Space Ghost Coast to Coast. In the A tier for great, we have Star Wars The Clone Wars, Megas XLR, Static Shock, Mighty Magiswords, Sonic Boom, Johnny Bravo, Regular Show, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, The Amazing World of Gumball, Craig of the Creek, Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future, Adventure Time, Duck Dodgers, SWAT Cats, Chowder, OKKO, and Villainous. In the good tier, which is B, we have Infinity Train, Young Justice, Jellystone, We Bare Bears, Mad, Uncle Grandpa, Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Laboratory, I Am Weasel, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, Robotomy, Sheep in the Big City, Time Squad, What a Cartoon, Two Stupid Dogs, 16, Total Drama Island, Atomic Betty, Ben 10, Captain Planet, Clarence, Class of 3000, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, Code Lyoko, DC Superhero Girls, What's New Scooby-Doo, Evil Concarne, Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, Justice League Action, Transformers Animated, League of Super Evil, The Moxie Show, and Totally Spies. Guilty pleasure. In the meh tier, we have Life and Times of Juniper Lee, Johnny Test, Crypto the Superdog, Teen Titans Go, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, The Cramp Twins, The Garfield Show, Grim and Evil, Ozzy and Drix, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, Squirrel Boy, Sunday Pants, and The Redonkulous Race, which I think is... They're missing other Total Drama shows, and I realize they don't have Total Drama Action or World Tour. They're missing those. In the D mediocre, we have Baby Looney Tunes, Codename Kids Next Door, George of the Jungle, Mike, Lou and Og, Mucha Lucha, Total Drama Rama, and Annoying Orange. In the F bad, we have Problem Solvers, Powerpuff Girls Reboot, and Summer Camp Island. And in the Never Seen, we have Almost Naked Animals, Apple and Onion, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Ben 10 Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, whatever the hell that one is, Omniverse, I think it is, Omniverse, Ben 10 the Reboot, Beware the Batman, Chop Saki Chooks, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Dragons, whatever that subtitle says, Generator Rex, Green Lantern, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which I believe was the 2002 show, Long Live the Royals, Mixels, Ninjago, Robot Boy, Secret Mountain Fort Awesome, Secret Saturdays, Skunk Fu, Star Wars The Clone Wars, the CG show, Stormhawks, I believe, Symbionic Titan, Thundercats, the remake, Tig and Seek, Unikitty, Victor and Valentino, Xiaolin Showdown, Hero 108, Thundercats Roar, Elliot from Earth, We Baby Bears, and the Funkies. And that's it. And guys, I appreciate you all coming for this, albeit short, but I think fun and unique little stream for the middle of the week. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. As for me, I am going to be gone. I'm going into Pasadena this Friday through Monday for a convention, Anime Pasadena. If you guys happen to be in the area or happen to even be going to that convention, you can say hi. I'll be there. But otherwise, I'm going to get back to work on things such as writing my book and collecting checks from editing jobs. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for watching. And please have a great rest of your day.